Just because they can't remember, it doesn't mean that they can't understand. And dementia residents say, we can think and we like to think. At one dementia facility I was working at, there was a resident, say Fran, and she used to recite Shakespeare all day long, past memory still intact. And I decided to do a workshop and see whether I could tap into Hamlet, the Shakespearean play, with the residents who had studied it all at school. So I got out the trusty whiteboard and wrote up Hamlet, and under that, to thine own self be true, and the next quote, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And so I asked the group what was their favourite quote, and it was really interesting as to which quote they decided they liked in the end. So in terms of the exercise, what I did was that I firstly made sure that everyone was comfortable and relaxed and settled, that often being a big job in a dementia facility. And I explained to them the process, that we were going to study the two famous quotes from Shakespeare, and I repeated the quotes, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so, and to thine own self be true. Wrote it up in big letters so that they could read it, if they could read it. I wasn't sure that they could even read at that stage, but hoping that they could. And then I said, look, I want you to think back to your school days and Shakespeare and Hamlet. You will have all studied Hamlet at school, as we all did, in New Zealand certainly. And with these two quotes, I want to see whether you can either remember them or recognise them or read them. And if not, I will speak them out to you. And we're going to think about each quote for a minute. And then after that, we're going to have a vote as to which quote you like the most. And then with that quote, what we're going to do is we're going to think about it. Well, that we actually did think about it. I didn't say that at the time. I said we're going to work on it for the whole year. So they actually, with that introduction, I could see them becoming a little interested, interestingly enough, more so than any other activities I'd been doing all year. All year I'd been doing every activity, that it was suggested I should be doing in the job. Nothing was working, no response, hardly anything. And so that's why I decided to do this on the off chance it would work, and that I could get some engagement going on. Anyway, so I got the big whiteboard, Hamlet, two quotes up there, date, and again, after the explanation, we did the exercise. And then everyone was, opening their eyes at least and showing a little interest, I thought. So I said, okay, so which quote do you like? To thine own self be true, or nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And so I started with who likes, there was a group of about 12 residents, and I said, who likes to thine own self be true? 2 people put their hands up. Then I said, and who likes nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so? Everybody else put up their hand. And I said, so why is it that you like the second quote? I asked them all, nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And they said, one person piped up and said, we like the thinking part. The thinking part, and so I said to the group, is that how you all feel? How many of you feel that it is the thinking part that you like about this quote? Nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. And they said, yes, we like that, the thinking. And that was the big revelation. I thought, the thinking, that's what they like, the thinking part of it. So I said, very good, excellent. We're going to do workshops on this. And we did. And the residents called them the thinking workshops. We did years of those thinking workshops, which actually all this work is about, both the 2 books, the resident's voice and the resident's rise, both from a dementia unit. And all these videos that I'm doing for you is all on this work from these thinking workshops. They were just fantastic. I mean, you know, the residents loved them. I loved them. We worked together. We developed this work, and it was a fantastic journey. So with the thinking part, I began thinking, well, how is it that they're thinking? Like, you know, obviously their memory's gone. Present memory for most of them was completely gone. Only just a very small amount of present memory now and then sparked. Their past memory, most of them had part intact, so you could access that at times. But this thinking, when they were focusing, when they were concentrating, they were able to think. That I could see. And so we just worked on increasing their concentration, increasing their focus so that they could think. So the first thing we started with was the workshops themselves. And we did topics that got them thinking, like what's the difference between positive thinking and negative thinking? How do we feel when we think positively? How do we feel when we think negatively? What are the repercussions of that when we speak positively to someone? You know, how does that work out compared to if we're negative with someone? And then we practice that with each other, to and forth, little discussions, role plays, the lot. And they really got it. They loved it. So much so that they, you know, it was only positive thinking here. You're only allowed to think positively. And if anyone was negative, they were banned from the group. So if you wanted to be part of the group and the community, you needed to think positively. And we did, from there, we did workshops on how to increase your concentration and focus and why that was important. Then how to build confidence. And that actually happened from building concentration and focus, because when they got confidence in concentrating and focusing and thinking, then they got the confidence in the present moment to speak out their thoughts and communicate, because they were in the present. So no memory there, but in that present moment, as they were thinking, concentrating and focusing on the topics at hand, they could communicate about that. And then they'd get confidence from communicating, start to develop friendship, and that's how the community developed. And one thing that aided a lot with these thinking workshops was writing everything up on the trusty whiteboard, because they couldn't remember what someone had said because their past memory's gone, but they could read it. They could read what that person had said, and I'd write up each statement of each resident on the whiteboard, big and clear, with their name behind it. And they were motivated to read. They wanted to read. They wanted to be part of it. So even if their reading was, you know, back to elementary level, still they could work it through. And I would repeat the lines for those people that weren't reading as well, so that at least they could retain it in the present moment. These workshops were a hit, a great hit. You know, 1-2 hours of focusing, concentrating, thinking, unwinding, being present, and all their enlightened comments and statements were so, you know, inspiring and invigorating. And that is why I have written these 2 books, The Resident's Voice and The Resident's Rise, the enlightening statements and actions and conversations and, you know, just the courage and conviction and hard work and effort that these dementia residents put into their thinking. They knew it was important. They knew it was important that this thinking was not only important for them, their friends, their family, the dementia unit, but they all felt as well that this pioneering work was going to help others that were afflicted with dementia, and they wanted the word to get out. They wanted their voice to get out. And so that is why I have written these books and doing this work on behalf of these wonderful, fabulous, beautiful people, you know, no longer now invisible, but being able to, you know, put their voice out there as they wished. So thank you for your likes and your support, and description below is the website if you wish to get the books there. Thank you for your support. Thank you.